It's chapter 10 of the textbook. You remember from the start of this course, we started from the descriptive analytics. We explain the data, we look at the data visualization, clustering, to explain what happened in the past. Then we look at the predictive analytics. We look at the regression, we look at the logistic regression, classification methods to predict what's going to happen in future. The third part of the business analytics is called prescriptive analytics. We want to develop some model for decision making. Today we start prescriptive analytics, and one of the easy ways to do prescriptive analytics is using a spreadsheet or Excel. I'm sure, so in the course so far we use Excel a lot, we type the formula in Excel and we use the Excel to develop some spreadsheet. But now we look at that in more purposeful examples. A spreadsheet is just an Excel workbook that we develop to make some decision. To see, for example, how you can numerically model your data and your process. There is some example in the textbook. Before going to do the example on the slide, we want you to start the example that I put on the blackboard. If you go to the blackboard of the course, in week 9, in week 9, if you go to the lecture note for week 9, there are two Excel files at the bottom of the page. One of them is with solution, one of them without solution. What I do today, you will see the result on with solution, with answer. But without answer, please open first this file. If you have your laptop in front of you, please open the Excel for the videos that I put, and without solution, without answer. If I open this file, okay. This is the spreadsheet we want to develop. For example, we want to develop some formula. This is one example I put. First, we start with this example because this example makes sense to many of you. If you want to go and get a loan from bank, and bank tell you, you want to get a loan $500,000, and annual interest rate is 4%, and you want to pay back your loan in 20 years. Yes, then we want to know how much you need to repay every month. Yeah, we borrow $500,000 with the interest rate of 4%. That's why yearly interest rate, which show it with letter R, is 0.04, is 4%, and we want to return the loan in 20 years. And you want to find out what would be the monthly payment. To get the monthly payment, there is a formula like this. But we don't need to worry about the formula, how it comes, the finance formula. But for example, you can search in the Google and get the formula. You can look at the books and get the formula. But the main purpose here is how you can use Excel to apply this formula for your case. This is a bit complex formula. Yeah? In the first look, it looks complex. That's why I put it here. Because no matter how complex is the formula, you need to know how to implement it in Excel. And it is easy to implement it in Excel. Therefore, I want to use this formula. If you Google this formula, monthly repayment formula, you will see this formula. Or for any purpose that you want, you can find the textbook, or maybe you come across in the company you work, maybe there are some formula they use for prediction for different things, but you want to implement this formula. For implementing this formula is easy. Here we type equal. You're familiar with this concept from we started from the beginning of the course typing the formula. This is L. L here is our loan amount. I just click on loan amount. Times, yes, so far I want to calculate monthly payment, I click equal. L is loan amount, just I put B3 times, then because it's a big complex formula, I put open bracket, close bracket for numerator of the equation, divided by open bracket, close bracket for denominator. Now I know what I want to put in the top and what I want to put in the below part. In the top part, what I need to put R divided by 2, 12. I put again open bracket, close bracket, and I put here my R is interest rate. R divided by 12. Here I put times, again open bracket, close bracket. In the open bracket I put 1 plus R divided by 12. And this should be to the power of again open bracket, close bracket. In the bracket, inside the bracket I put n is this cell times 12. Now I have I put the top part of the formula. Makes sense to everyone? How we try to use lots of brackets because it specifies where you make sure for each term you have open bracket, close bracket. You make sure you developing each part correctly. Let me if I can make it a bit bigger then. I put this formula so far for the B3 is L, and this part, this is what I put now. No matter how complex is the formula, you can implement it in Excel. And as I said, always try to use bracket to specify each term, to make sure because brackets define the order of the sequence of operations. Then if I come to the bottom part of the equation, I again need open bracket, close bracket for 1 plus R. R is interest rate divided by 12. And this should be to the power of open bracket, close bracket, to the power of n times 12. And after that, it should be minus 1. This is the whole formula. But if you look at that at once, it could be complex, but if you try to break it down and first say, I first put this part, then one for this part, then one for this part, then this part itself has this term, and this term. Put a bracket for that, you can put any complex formula in Excel. Try to make sure you select the right cell for the loan amount is L in this formula. Interest rate is letter R, and N in the number of years you want to make the repayment. You don't go wrong if you use brackets. Brackets are very good to divide the complex equation and try to work every time you just concentrate on each part. Make sure you get it right. Okay, if I click enter here now, you need to pay $3,029 or $30 per month to complete your loan in 20 years, if the interest rate is 4%. This is very simple example of a spreadsheet. And I don't know if you work in organization, they use a lot, because they use a lot the formula, put in a spreadsheet and change it. Because, for example, if you develop this formula, next time you have a customer in the bank, you say, you want to give them 600,000. You just change 500,000 to 600,000. This is the monthly repayment. It automatically get updated because they're linked together. Yeah? Or let's say if it is still 500,000, but interest rate is not 5%, is 4.5%. This is the amount of repayment. If you next time you want to purchase home, you want to get loan, you can calculate it yourself before going to the bank and say, for example, how much is my monthly repayment. This is just an example. Anytime you have a formula like that, you can build a spreadsheet for it. And you can play with the parameters, saying what happened if the loan amount changed. What happened if, for example, you're working for the port company, what happened is its capacity of the yard changed. What happened, for example, if you have more trucks? What happened? You can develop this thing. You can build something and then play with the parameters, play with the different parameters in your model. This is called model, a spreadsheet model. You can, and there are parameters of the model. You can play with them and get the result that you want. Any question? Is it? Anyone tried a different answer? Yeah. But this is called the spreadsheet model. You want to see how different value impact on the formula. It's not just developing the formula, then later on you use it. For example, if you say, I want to make the payment in 25 years, change the year. The payment would be 2,636 per month. Yeah? You can change any parameters and see how it. Once you develop that, it's very useful to use. Okay, once you develop for example, assume you are in a company, you develop some tools like that. Probably, what is the next step after developing the spreadsheet? Maybe sometimes it's good to have different scenarios. You don't want to, for example, you develop this thing and you say, let's see, you have all the other scenarios. Let's say, what if I borrow $300,000 or $350,000 or $400,000 or $450,000 or $500,000 or $600,000, $700,000 or $800,000. You want to know what is the monthly repayment because once you develop the spreadsheet, you want to deliver it to someone else also need to work. Try to put the sensible word on that. Everyone knows what is the, for example, loan, where they need to put loan, where they need to put the interest rate and things like that. Now we want to, next question is, this is my, I want to know the answer. This is the basic model I developed. Now I want to know the monthly repayment for different loan amounts. This is called the scenarios. Once you build your spreadsheet model, you can try your spreadsheet model for different scenarios. I want to know the answer. For example, you want to also, for example, the person you want to report is say, if you borrow 500,000, 24 years, 4%, this is the monthly repayment. Well, however, if you borrow 300, this is the monthly repayment. If you borrow 350, this, you want to get this is called what-if analysis, or sometimes it's called scenario analysis. You want to get the answer for different scenarios. Yeah? For this one, what you need to do, here you need to put the formula for the monthly repayment. Just, in the front of scenario board, you put because what I want to get is, I want to get monthly repayment. And I put the formula for monthly repayment in cell B8. I click enter here, then you need to select these two columns and go to the data and what-if analysis and data table. This is called what-if analysis or scenario analysis. Yeah? We go to data menu, we go to the what if analysis and data table. In data table, I can say my row input, my column input are here. And this is the row inputs. So this is my row input are, they are in different row. What we need to do, we need to, here I need to put the scenario up. Because this formula was for 500,000, I need to put 500,000 in front of, because for 500,000, it was, the answer was this cell, Now I can select these two columns and go to multiple analysis, data table, changing the row is here. Should work. Anyone watch the video can help me out? No one watched the video? No? Let me just check something now. This is why when you record the video a while ago, Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know. Sometimes it happens yet, but you should. Okay. Once for my mistake was you were right. When you want to do the scenario analysis, you select the cell you want to do, go to the what if, and in the data table, because we are changing the data and put them in this column. This is the data we are changing. We are changing the loan amount. If you change the loan, it calculated. Let's do it again. This is the different scenario that I want to get the result for. And for 500,000, I know the formula is, this is the monthly repayment. I calculated this one. Now you select the scenario and then go to what if analysis and data table. But in the scenario, what you want to change, I change the loan amount. Therefore, in the column, and I put them in the column E. Therefore, in the column input, I select here, I change the loan amount, and loan amount was this cell. Then, I want to develop different scenario when loan amount change, and the loan amount reference value was cell B3. If you now click OK, it gives you the loan amount for example, if you borrow 800,000, the monthly repayment is 4,222. This is called one-way what if analysis. We get the monthly repayment for different scenarios, while scenarios are different amount of loan. That's why once you go to what if analysis data label, because you put in this column, you change column input cell. Column input cell is this cell, because the value in that cell is loan amount. If you then click OK, it gives you the value for different loan amount. But let's do further analysis and say, if I want to have different scenarios, if I define my scenario like that, if I come here and say my scenarios are different loan amount and different interest rate.
Defaulting perfection.
You want to say what if the interest rate is, for example, now we calculate it for 0.04. What if it is 0.03? What if the interest rate is 0.035? Interest rate is for example, 5.4, 4.5, or 0.05, or 0.06, and for different loan amount. Because in the first example, we only did the analysis when loan amount changed. Here we want to develop some scenarios, what if for different loan amount and also for different interest rate. This is called two-way analysis or two-way. And for this value, we know the interest rate when we have 500,000 and 4%. This is the monthly payment. 500,000 and 4%. This is the value we calculated. This is our cell B8 is our monthly repayment. If I click here, and now I need to put the scenarios up, and I need to put also this value here. Then you click on the columns and go to the again data what if analysis, again data table. Here I changing the rows. Rows are interest rate, and also I changing the column. Column is loan amount. I need to populate two values because the scenario are defined by changing the loan amount, which is my column, and row is value of the interest rate. If you click OK, it gives you the monthly repayment for different scenario. For example, if you borrow 500,000 and interest rate is 2.5, your monthly repayment is 2,500. Depend on you have one base scenario or two base scenario. You can develop your scenario based on the just loan amount, or you can develop the scenario based on the loan amount and interest rate. Again, for this part, what you need to do, you need to write your interest rate in a row. Different interest rate, you want to get the value of the monthly repayment. You need to write the loan amount in the column. And intersection of these two, you need to put the base value you calculated. This is the base for 500,000 and 4%. Yeah? You need to put the intersection of the different rows and column, put the value. This value is, I put here, this one is my base value for monthly repayment for 504%. Put that in the intersection, then click enter, and then select the area you want to populate. Go to the what if analysis, data table. In the scenario, rows are, in this scenario table, the row is interest rate. Therefore, for the row input cell, I click on this cell, interest rate. Yes, B4 is interest rate. For the column input, my column input in the scenarios are loan amount. For the column input, I come in the column input and click on loan amount. Now, I have scenarios that changing the loan amount and changing the interest rate. If you click OK now, you get the, for example, this value here is when you want to borrow $400,000 and interest rate is 4.5%. The monthly payment is $2,223. You get the value for different scenarios. Yes?
Why do we have to put the value in the monthly payment in the...
This value?
Yes.
This is the how two-way scenario work. Because to define the value, because this is the value we want to generate for different scenario, I need to put it in the intersection of the row and column. This is the default in Excel. If you don't put it here, you don't get the result. But if I put here, this value is my base value, you get the result. This is how the formula works. It's intersection of the column for your scenario and row for scenario, that's this is the important cell. And you need to put the base formula in this cell. And this formula was, this is my base, and then I put the two base scenario to get the different loan amount and interest rate and get the monthly payment for different scenarios. Can you give me an example about, for example, scenarios that you might see in the real, for example, organization you work with or you're working with now? Any, for example, maybe if you are in the supply chain program, in supply chain, you make a decision about inventory lots of time. What is the reorder point for inventory safety stock? For inventory safety stock, you need to say, if demand is this much and holding cost is this much, this is my inventory. But you can develop some scenarios, say, what if demand increase? What if demand decrease? And then based on different value of demand and holding cost, you maybe, for example, use EOQ model. EOQ would be this formula, and you can, based on different values for demand and holding cost, you can get the economic order quantity. Any other example you can think of for other subject that you learn, you can use the scenario analysis for that? No? Exactly. This is the example also we are going to talk about for manufacturing. If you want to get the For example, you do in manufacturing, we have a break-even point. The value of the quantity, if you produce more than that, you have profit. Below that, you have, for example, loss. You can use you can calculate the profit and then develop some scenario at what point and calculate the point. What point you get the positive and you get the zero profit, which is your break-even point. Any other topics that you use? You can use this. Sorry? Accounting? What do you want to do next? This is your table. 2 columns. It has 2 columns. Once it finds the value there, you want to record this value in the second column. 2 means the column reference. You want to get the value from. Yeah. Think about how we can calculate.
Yeah, it's NA.
But for the NAs, since it's not here, then you should put it up here from A.
Still, VLOOKUP. How about using if?
But you should make a 0. It's not after a 0.
Let's see.
Some of you got NA. If you got NA, think how you can remove the NA as well. Error value. One of them has discount. Only one. Once you think that, if you want, you can have maybe 5-minute break if you want to, you know. And then after break, I show you the solution if you haven't got it.
So how can you do that?
I explain it to you again because some other student also asked. Remember in this column, in this example, why I put 2 here? I want to look for this column in this table. In this table has 2 columns, yeah? Column 1 and column 2. Once I find the value in this table, I want to give you the value in the corresponding value in column 2. That's why I put 2. Question?
do not change that column. We change the third column.
Sorry?
This is what he did. So the final price is if yeah, I haven't heard about that one. Sarah or something.
Yeah, you make it the other way. Yeah.
We just focus on the second column.
Yeah.
Where between
Yep.
and then see it? Yeah, so let's see how each section like separate each account.
What is I? Oh, is error.
It's it.
Because it's just like a name of the results.
The people who are in the IT program, business IT, what this kind of table called? Anyone knows about database management system? Who has the database management system? Database management system? What is this table called? Who is from business IT? Okay, in business IT, one of the concepts we learn is database. Tell me, this is the one database, yeah? This is the data. What is this table, this kind of table called? Do you know about DIM
Sorry,
data?
I can't hear.
DIM?
I can't hear.
Not hearing me.
No.
In database management system, we have DIM data. What is the other type of data? Okay, if I'm the manager and I want to hire business IT, I don't hire any of them. In database management system, we have two types of tables. A static data table or dynamic table. We call the static data table DIM data, DIM. Dimension data. Yeah? This data, if in the core database, this data, because this is relatively fixed. Yeah? This is DIM data. This is static data. This is why I asked. In DIM data, the relationship between DIM data, do you know about the relationship in the database? Is one to one, one to many, many to many? You know that, yeah? Okay. In the DIM data, always relationship is one to one, yeah? I think I should push that person. Okay. Let's see. Let's go for this one, yeah? Everyone ready? This is again VLOOKUP. I want to look for this in this range. And I want to report it second column and put it false. Then I fix this area. F4. I put the dollar sign here, dollar sign for lock the cell, dollar sign, and dollar sign. and then copy that. This is the original price. I got the original price right, and original total cost is sum of this. What about discount factor? I can say here again equal to lookup for this item, comma, in this range, report 2, and again if you cannot find it, false. I don't want the closest one.
Is it lookup or VLOOKUP?
V. And I just put the dollar sign here, dollar sign here. Dollar sign here, and dollar sign. Then I copy. Then this one is original price times 1 minus discount. Yeah? 1 minus discount is remaining cost, and you can grab it down, and here again is equal to sum of this. This is what we want to fix. It is not what we want. NA is not the value what we want. Okay, how about what is your suggestion? Is NA function? Do we have is NA? Do we have sure is NA? Is NA. Let me use the error. Don't push. Is error. Report is if I come here and create something, we can do it in if say is error this report 0, otherwise report 1. Is error true. Fix this one, then let me show what we did. This is the value we got. I can come here, this is the value of discount. I can come here, say, if is error, this is function in function, is error is, if this value is error, I want to return 0. If it is not error, I want to return this. Do you understand this formula now? If is error this VLOOKUP, the result of this VLOOKUP, if it is error, give me 0. If it is not error, give me the value VLOOKUP. Here we have if function, is error function, and VLOOKUP function. 3 functions inside each other. Your idea was is NA. Is NA, I think it should work. Because the outcome of is error is true or false.
What if we use different one? We look up first and then is error after that.
If is error true, you need to give 0. There is no discount. If it is false, you need to give me the value. Now here should be give 0 because there is no discount for this one, yeah? Discount is 0.
So I mean that if it's not used. discount is returned to the original price.
Yes, you can do the other way as well. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Because if you look at in if function, we have if the argument if true pass the second one, if false pass the third one. Therefore, if is error these things pass 0, otherwise pass VLOOKUP. We use is error function. Is error function or is NA function is very good to get rid of the error that we have in the spreadsheet and work when there is no error. Then, when you have is error and VLOOKUP, you need to understand the sequence. Makes sense to you the sequence? In if has 3 arguments. The first argument of if is error VLOOKUP. Second argument of if is 0. Third argument of if is VLOOKUP. Now if I click enter and I copy it down, everything is fixed now. Now next time you just do it once. Next time, for example, you give it to operator and next time they can just change the table of the discount. They can change the price here, but that bit is fixed. Every time it works. For example, if I say maybe tomorrow or next week I say this item is the discount is 0.10. You don't need to change anything. It automatically applies. This is the good things about the spreadsheet. You just change this part, they are always fixed. Therefore, when you develop a spreadsheet, you need to think about it carefully once, try to think about all possibilities, make sure it works well, and then you can use it for lots of purposes. If you want to, for example, this is your spreadsheet, sometimes you want to see all of the formula, you can go to the formula, and if you click on show formula, it shows all of the formula in your spreadsheet. It shows them, you can check it, for example, the formula. I went to the formula tab, formula menu, and show formula. It shows you the formula if you want to check everything is fine to audit your spreadsheet. Because one we developed that you want to audit it to make sure everything is fine. Or, for example, let's see you are here and you want to see which cells are related to this formula. If you go to the formula and show trace precedent, it tells you the value in this cell coming from this table and that value. You can understand. You see, I just went to the formula and click on the trace precedent, or you can remove that. For example, I want to see where are the cells relating to this cell to do the calculation. I click on this cell, go to the formula, and trace precedent. It says this cell is coming from these two cells. You can go back and can say, okay, I want to look at where this comes from. Click here again, trace. It comes from VLOOKUP. In the VLOOKUP, you use this cell and that cell. You can audit your spreadsheet, make sure all of the relationship you wanted is there, and you can remove them if you want. Okay. Next thing I want you to do is, this is the manufacturing example. There is a manufacturer. This is the production planning. Maybe people who are in the supply chain, they know some example about this as well. There are the manufacturer produce some 6 items. Item A, it takes 1 hour from worker to produce. Item B takes 1.5 hours to produce. Item C, it takes 2 hours of your worker to produce. And this is for the current shift. 6 hours, this is the order that you have. You want to produce 100 of unit A, 20 of B, 150 of C, 10 of D, 0 E, and 36 F. How many workers you need to hire? This is the question. This is the per each item, how many hours you need. This is your production plan, and you need to know for today how many workers do you need. Think about that and try to get the answer. You are production manager and you want to know how many people you need. For example, if you have 5 workers in your workshop and probably five is not enough, maybe you need to go and hire some casual. How many do you need? Think about that. This is the spreadsheet model. This is the dim data, dimension data fixed. We know always producing 1 unit of A product need 1 hour work of 1 worker. And this is the production for current shift. For the current shift, I want to produce this. There is a customer, they need this. I want to know, tell me how many workers I need for this shift to fulfill that demand. Makes sense? Question makes sense to you? Problem is clear? Then use a spreadsheet, use Excel to answer. This is the question I want you to answer. How many workers are required in this shift? Any question about the question itself? Item F need 2.5 hours of working. And in the current shift, there is a demand 30, I need to produce 36 of F. How many workers do you need? Think about that first, see what data you need, how you can use Excel to come up with. You got the answer.
I have the idea, but I didn't put it. I'm doing
Develop
working.
your idea.
Yeah, working.
Yeah,
on the
you work
answer.
on that, yeah. But did you understand the question?
I understand the question. I understood that. But I don't know.
You this the same thing you can do that.
this number times C times number of that will give you 300 hours for item C
Yeah.
plus 100 hours for A plus 30 hours for B and so on. We calculate the number of hours.
Let's work it out. First, if I want to know how many items I have I have in this
which means
manufacturer sum,
how many shifts.
I can put count.
Since you're going to do it in one shift,
Count is a function, count the number of cells that I selected. Total number of items that this manufacturer produced is 6. It was easy also, you could count it. But you could use count function. Count function, count the cells that you selected. Yeah? But the second question asks you here, is asking you, in this shift, how many type of item are produced? What's the answer for this one?
5.
5. But I can use count if. Count if function, count if this with the, but if it is greater than 0. Count if you can put a condition. You can say count if all of these cells, but with the condition that it is greater than 0. You could count them or you can use counting. For example, you have list of students, 250 students, and you want to know how many failed the course. I can just say count if for example, is less than 50. You can think about lots of application. Count if you can just count the cells, but put the condition that you want. Okay, how many hours of worker do you need? For producing 100A, I need to say 100 times 1. 20 be 20 times 1.5. 150 times 3 times 2. 10 times 3. You need to multiply them by 1 by. But the easy answer is you can use sum product. In sum product, you can say, I want to sum product this by this. It says in total you need 550 hours. Sum product the first, then comma the second array. It corresponds, multiply the first one by the corresponding value. 1 by 100, 1.5 times 20, 2 times 150, 3 times 10, 1.8 times 0, 2.5 times 36. This is the function of sum product. You have two arrays, multiply, each corresponding multiply by each other. Okay, therefore you have in total 550 hours need, and you know this shift has 6 hours. This cell divided by 6 is 91.6 or 92 hours. You need 92 workers. Because you know the current shift is 6 hours. And in total you need 550 hours to complete your task, to complete this order. 550 divided by 6, you need 92 workers. Once you develop that, tomorrow you have different order. You just change here, and it automatically tell you how many workers you need. This is the spreadsheet. Assume, for example, once I know for this order, I need 92 workers. But tomorrow, assume is 120A, 0B, 200C, 0C, 0D, 100E, and 0. It said, for example, for this order, you need 116 workers. Once you develop your model, you can use it every day. Make sure your model is correct, and then you can change it and use it. Again, another day, you have different production plan. You can again calculate how many workers you need. Again, if you want to see where this coming from, click on that, go to formula, trace precedent. This comes from here. Where this comes from, click on that, formula, trace precedent. You can check if the formula is correct. And you can use error checking here to see if there's any error. It can gives you the error function here. There is no error for auditing. If you want to remove them, just remove errors. Okay. We have time now. You remember we discussed one small task, maybe it was week 4. Let's see, for example, this is I have day 1, day 2, day 4, day 3, day 5, day 6, day 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. Okay, this is the day number. Assume, for example, one start from Monday. And this is the demand. Demand is 100, 110, 110, 89, 88, 79, 10. For example, I have one example. We continue with one example. Say, for example, whether you at the moment interest rate maybe is 4%, but bank has some prediction. They think, for example, with this some confidence, interest rate was going to change in this much, and they can use that to say whether, for example, based on your income, your status, whether they can approve your loan or not. Or if you work in a real organization, you see they use a lot Excel. And maybe when they use Excel, maybe 70% of the use of Excel is on a spreadsheet. They develop the model, they run it every day, they change things, and they decide about. For example, in hospitals, they make a decision every day how many blood unit they order from the blood bank. For example, how many O negative, how many O positive. This is kind of ordering problem. They have a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet gets some data from how many surgery is, for example, scheduled for today. This is one of the input. Or what's the demand, what is the emergency surgery they're going to have. And they can say, and the operator can sit in the Excel and say, today based on the information, they need to order 10 units of O negative, 5 units of O positive, things like that. But you can develop some scenario. What if, for example, the demand changed? What if, for example, there is a mismatch in the compatibility of the lot? You know, these kind of things can come in the developing the scenario. But the other thing I want you to do is, for example, I want you to think about this question. If you say, based on my salary, I can afford to pay $2,000 per month. This is the $2,000 is the amount I can pay per month. How much money I can borrow? Any idea how to get this one? You go and say you can pay up to $2,000 per month. How much money do you think you can borrow to finish off your loan in 25 years with 4% interest? Less than 400,000? Okay. Any better guess? Any exact value? One way is change, for example, I can come here and change, for example, you say less than 400,000, yeah? I can here and say, for example, 400, change it to 380. Yeah? Or maybe it's a bit of 378 is low. And play with that to get that value. But because, for example, 378 is 1,995. You can change it that to see. But there is a tool in Excel, it's called goal seek. we can use goal seek. If you go to the, again, data, what if analysis and goal seek, it says set cell, this cell, to value 2000 by changing this cell. I'll do it again, let's see. I want to know, if I want to repay $2,000 per month, how much money I can borrow, yeah? You go to the data, and what if, and this is, here we use goal seek. And if you click on goal seek, it says, set value, I want to set this cell to 2000, to set this cell to what value, for example, let's say to 2,300. I can afford 2,300. By changing what? By changing this cell. Yeah? I want to set this cell, cell B8, to 2,300 by changing the loan amount. If you click OK, it do the thing we wanted to do. You remember manually I tried to change it and increase it and little bit decreasing to make sure it exactly do the same thing. You see, it tried to do the things and then they stop. It said to getting the monthly payment exactly 2,300, your borrowing capacity is 435,070, $740. It gives you exact value. This is called goal seek. It's similar to scenario analysis, but you know what you want to see and you don't want to manually change all of the scenarios. It go and calculate the value you want based on the changing. For example, if you go again to data, what if analysis, goal seek, say, I want this cell to be $5,000, I can afford to pay $5,000 per month. What is my loan amount? See, they start changing that till they stop. You can borrow up to $947,000. This is how, for example, if you go to the bank and request for loan amount, they ask you about income, your expenses, and they say, okay, this person can, for example, pay about $2,000 per month. And they say the interest rate, for example, 4%, then they can tell you how much money you can borrow. This is again, they can use goal seek for answering this kind of question. Any question about goal seek? No? The example that you gave about the manufacturing, you want to see where is the break-even point. You can again use goal seek to come up what is the break-even point. Any question about a spreadsheet, developing simple model? Now you should be able to develop simple spreadsheet model, do what if analysis, one way and two way, and do goal seek analysis and also understand the meaning of each other. If you could get the same result for 5,000, people try. Okay. Once we work with the what if analysis or a spreadsheet, usually we need to use some function or some formula in Excel. We review some of them here that are commonly used. One of them is called VLOOKUP. Anyone knows about VLOOKUP or used VLOOKUP before? It's very common and very frequently used, especially when you work with the databases. You have databases, you want to do matching things, and I'll give you an example here. For example, assume this is in the grocery store, this is the list of items, this is the code of item, and this is the price for each item. For example, we have item with this number, and this is the price for unit of that item. Now you have a customer who purchased this unit. You know, they come in and they scan the code, barcode, and this is the shopping list, the shopping basket. I want to know how much is the customer should pay. What we need to do? We need to, for example, see the customer purchased the item 155934. I need to come here and look for that item, find the price and put it there. Yeah, makes sense? You need to find the value that match that code, then get the price and put it there. And this is for this customer, then calculate how much that customer needs to pay. Okay, for this one, we use VLOOKUP because in VLOOKUP, it means go and I want to look for this value. V is equal to VLOOKUP, and then what value you want to look for? H3. I want to look for this value. Then comma, where do you want to look for that value? In this table. There is this store, for example, it has 300 items.